Welcome back to another Multiversus tier list video. Today we are taking a look at the post-Morty release Season 1 buffs and nerf rankings of each character and where we would currently place them, as well as talking about where we believe some characters might end up with the next patch update. These tier list videos will be a regular series here on the channel whenever we get a new patch update that might shake things up. So remember that if you want to stay up to date on our Multiversus content, then consider subscribing. With that, let's take a look at our tier list for 1v1s. First up, we have S tier, where we find our newest character, Morty. With his immense kit, we feel like he's appropriately an S tier character, with crazy amount of damage output, but also his various mage-like options making him more of a specialist in this game. With that being said, we are currently seeing the 1v1 meta being dominated by a bunch of bruisers such as Jake and Batman. So go ahead and pop off if that's one of your mains. Bugs and Tom both slightly dropped due to some nerfs recently, but mainly because the assassins have been able to jump an entire tier between patches. Both Harley and Arya have made their way up the tier list into S tier with the new assassins buff released in the last patch update, reducing how much passive damage assassins take in general, allowing them to do their thing for so much longer, heavily shifting the meta into a much more fast-paced battle scene. Finn would also be much higher with the new assassin buff, however, due to his intense nerfing he received recently, keeping him in S tier seems appropriate, but leaving him in the bottom ranked felt the best. Which brings us to our last but not least, Wonder Woman, who climbs the tier list from B all the way to S tier with the most recent buffs, allowing her to hit hard and really feel like a versatile tank in this ever-shifting meta. Next up, we have A tier, where Superman, Velma, and Raindog have dropped to from their previous S tier rankings for 1v1s, mainly due to some implied nerfs as well as other characters just being able to outshine them in 1v1s. Shaggy has moved up in rank, where LeBron and Steven have slightly moved down, and Iron Giant, despite being absolutely destroyed by nerfs in the last patch update, is still doing amazing things in 1v1. Lastly, for 1v1s, we have the B tier, where we find both Bruisers, Garnet, and Taz. However, don't expect to see them here for too long, because we have confirmation with the last patch update that both these characters will be receiving buffs in the near future, which may possibly allow them to jump up the tier list. Now let's hop into everyone's favorite tier list, the 2v2s. Actually, let us know in the comments if you are more of a 2v2 player or if you prefer solos. We'd be quite interested to know what the community prefers. Anyway, with the S tier column, we have Bugs in the same spot, and both supporters, Velma and Steven, ranking up. Regardless of nerfs, having support in 2v2s continues to be the play in overall win percentage. Speaking of overall win percentages, the tanks have climbed this season's tier lists to find themselves in the S tier for duos. Being able to tank hints for your teammate while also dealing heavy blows gives your team longevity on the field to position yourself for more ring outs. This really has tanks quite thankful this patch. Batman also moves up to S tier because if partnered with a complementary teammate, Batman can really get to work. And the wild thing about Batman is, almost every other character on the roster works well with him, which leaves us with Morty, who will place in the center of S tier for at least right now. Next up, we have our A tier combatants, with Jake, Finn, and Raindog falling down a tier, mainly due to other characters outshining them in 2v2 and collecting better stats in the current meta. Shaggy finds himself ranking up as the top bruiser in A tier, and both assassins Harley and Arya, as well as Bruiser LeBron, find themselves in the exact same spot as last time for duos. Lastly, we've got our B tier, and it should come to no surprise that we have Taz and Garnet. However, I do believe Taz is a better duos character due to his slight buffs he recently obtained, allowing him to do some real damage at the cost of a cooldown move, but we do know that buffs are on the way for these two, so we'll just have to wait and see where they may find themselves in the next tier list. Well, thanks everyone for watching our Multiversus post-Morty release Season 1 ranked tier list list. Don't forget, you can see our full tier list over on our Discord. The link is in the description down below, so check that out if you want. But that's going to be all from us here today, and as always, best of luck in your solo or duo queues. Till next time.